Wicked, 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 wicked. Wicked tones, you know.
Recovering, only using one crutch. Don't tell my surgeon. Hopefully this comes out after my checkup visit. Make this come out in a month. I just had I have a fucking surprising amount of people writing me and telling me that they've had their hips done too. Apparently I have like a very old audience. So we know we're not talking to any young people on this channel apparently. But yeah, just like guys talking to me about how, just guys my age who have injuries, might not be hip, but it's knee or shoulder or whatever, and talking about my recovery and stuff. And a lot of people have commented on the fact that like I seem to be like recovering fast, whatever the fuck that means. But I think it's just how you approach your surgery. Like when I approached getting my surgery, I wasn't like I felt sorry for myself or something, and I was like, I didn't view it as like some life-altering experience where I was going to be like forever changed. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like I'm getting a limb chopped off or something. That's a fucking serious thing, right? Like, but I think the more you downplay something or the less you give it, like, yeah, the less energy you give it in terms of attention on your mind, the easier it is for the body to be like, okay, well, let's just get back to doing what we're doing, right? Because if you think about it, when I went into surgery, I was in pain and unable to walk properly for months. And when I come out of surgery, that pain is gone. It's just a different pain, which is like from the actual surgery in terms of swelling and whatever it might be, the healing that's going on inside and the inflammation, right? So it's a different pain. So automatically when you come out of surgery, you're better than you were when you went in. You're just dealing with a pain. The pain is like at a threshold when you come out of the surgery within the first week or so, but then every week it starts like tapering down. So why wouldn't I start introducing movement as that pain's dissipating and to like speed up that process of like getting inflammation out and getting the body moving again, doing what it's supposed to do? Why wouldn't I get moving after a certain point? Like I didn't do anything for a week like they told me to, basically a week. And then I came in here and I was just kind of doing seated stuff, just getting my body used to moving again and getting things neurologically, like getting my body to fire again, right? Like sitting in positions and having to stabilize weight and hold. Didn't mean I was like straining my hip or trying to put pressure on or loading it. It's just like your body's understanding. It's like, okay, we have to start moving now, doing what we've always done. So let's not deprogram that by sitting around doing nothing for a long time and then have this long road back where it's like I'm basically reprogramming my body to fire again just because I'm afraid of everything that could happen. Where it's like, just get moving, because like people who come out of surgery, I think anyone who's had a surgery can tell you, like, you just get to a point where you look at things like, say I look at this machine, it's like a leg press or something, or a bench press. I'd be like, I look at it and I'm like, I can't do that right now. Like, I know I can't physically get in that position right now or see how I could be comfortable doing that. So I'm gonna stay away from it. And then there's other machines or other movements you see and you're like, oh, I could do that. So like stick to the stuff that you can do, because that's your body basically being like, there's no danger there. There's no red flag popping up like, whoa, 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 man. Like, it's like, yeah, you could do that. And that pathway and those movements that you're creating and that neurological connection you're making is causing your body to like send signals all over and be like, okay, it's time to basically wake up. We're not being dormant anymore. We're trying to get functional again and move. And I had this discussion with a guy who's helping me out through my rehab, very, very, very good trainer, very even better guy named Matt Nickel. And we just had this discussion the other day when I was up at his place, and he agreed with me. It was actually his comment, said like, it surprises me that more surgeons and more rehab people don't seek out help or seek out movement therapy after a surgery from bodybuilding type trainers or bodybuilding type people. Because we're so good at, hopefully the majority of us are so good at isolating muscles and understanding how to lock down areas and move on a certain plane and really isolate, that it's conducive and it's beneficial to someone who's having, like, say, a lower extremity problem, like me. Like, I don't know how to stabilize myself, so I have to sit down and then I have to stabilize myself sitting. As that stabilization sitting and moving becomes better, then I move to standing. And it's like, it's a progression that's natural, right? So, and even when I'm standing, let's say I'm doing like a tricep press down or it could be like a cable curl. Like, I'm understanding I can't If I'm not supposed to put, like, you have a problem with your foot now, I have a problem with my hip, I'm not supposed to load my right side with all my weight. So I understand how to do things off my left. But to everyone standing here looking at me, they don't know that I have more weight on my left. Like, I'm lighter here, but I'm heavier here, right? But to someone standing like, oh, you look like you're fine. It's like, no, I understand like how to displace my weight, how to like put my weight where I want it and take pressure off different areas of my body, right? Which is, again, very beneficial to someone who's trying to recover from a surgery or recover from an injury, is that a body awareness that you're creating, because you can't move in certain ways. So therefore you must learn how to adapt and move in ways that you can. But that being said, you don't want to develop imbalances, obviously, where like I'm going to be the rest of my life, I'm always leaning on my left leg and I'm twisted to the side. Eventually you want to get to like where you're 50-50 or putting all your weight on your bad leg or your bad foot. But that comes with time, and your body will let you know, and your surgeon and your rehab people will let you know when that time is, right? Even though you feel great, there's still stuff going on inside in terms of healing that you need to be careful of, right? So that's why I'm being cautious of, I've listened to them. I've been better to this surgery than I have been other surgeries and like doing what I'm supposed to do. So, but I've also like recovered a lot faster because I credit it to getting in here and moving, right? When like riding the bike, getting my range of motion back, doing things where there's not a load on my body, but I'm still able to move my leg. So I'm not putting pressure into it. I'm not putting load into it. I'm just allowing my leg to move the way it moves. And it should move better now. Not better, but with more ease, because there's less fucking injury there. I don't have these stabbing pains in my leg. I don't have this like discomfort all the time. All that stuff's gone now. So let's get the swelling out and let's get the movement back down. Let's get the capsule used to moving again. And next thing you know, the body will take care of itself, right? The body registers that something's no longer wrong or like hurt in that area. It diverts attention from it and kind of goes back to this, what I would think is like a homeostasis of being like, oh, it's just how this thing works. It works like normal again, even though it's not. It's a fucking metal hip. But it's like, I don't stand here right now and think to myself, I can feel my metal joint like sliding smoothly. It's like, it feels like my other hip. It actually feels better than my other hip because my left hip fucking hurts from holding my fat ass up this whole time. I should have lost like 40 pounds before I went into surgery. Yeah, the more that people in any type of injury, any type of setback when it comes to physically stuff, it's just the more you can get moving within reason, the better, right? Because movement is medicine. Everyone knows that. Like, you sit around and let something stiffen up, or you're laying dormant and just like letting your body become this like blob. Once you have to get that fucking machine moving again, it's like, oh boy, like the body's like, no, I like laying down right now. You've conditioned me to lay down and be lazy. Yeah. It's like my surgeon told me, like, I don't want you doing anything for 6 weeks. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, first of all, no. I'm not gonna be an idiot because I'm not an idiot, but I'm not gonna also be like a complete fucking zombie and like if it was up to him, I'd still be laying in bed right now on a hospital bed at my house that I rented. And I'd be like ringing bells for people to bring me food. And every time I went to the car, I'd be like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd be like gingerly everywhere. It's like, but I feel way better than I felt in a long time. I'm purposely keeping all my weight off my right leg to give it a chance to heal and to give it a chance to understand that like, it's like we're moving, but we're still being careful, right? So I don't go by my recommendations if you're getting surgery out there or dealing with an injury, like, oh, Mike said to do this or this. Like, listen to your surgeon. They know way better than I do. But understand that, like, especially in my case, when it comes to like a hip, there's not a lot of guys my age getting hip replacements. And you know what I mean? So like they're kind of writing the book on rehab and kind of like giving this rehab protocol to like someone who's probably in their like late 60s to 80s. Like, these are the people that are getting hip replacements, right? So like, yes, you might want that person to be a little less mobile and sit around. But then I also hear I see these other cases where it's like, I know it's like 62-year-old dude gets his hip replaced and he's full weight bearing within 3 days and back to work the next week. But then they tell him, a guy like me who's younger and heavier and bigger, stay off it for 6 weeks. Because there's no like, there's no cohesive like understanding of like, or a case by case basis. Do you know what I mean? Like, some surgeons prescribe this kind of rehab, others want this. Others are like more aggressive in the rehab. Other ones are like way more passive, like just like take it easy, man. Don't fuck it up again. Yeah. But I think you should really go by, especially if you're a very self-aware person who lifts and has great experience lifting weights and really connects well. You'll have an understanding of what movements you're able to do and what you're not able to do. And I think it's better that you listen to your body, and once you start doing those movements, obviously go very light, go less range, understand like what you can handle. If you feel any type of discomfort or any type of like straining, then we don't go to that depth, or we don't go to that height, or we don't work in that range. We stay before that range, right? And then you'll understand once, like maybe that week you got to there, or 4 days later you try the exercises again, you understand, okay, there's not a lot of tension at that point anymore. I'm free flowing even an inch higher than that now. Because the body's like being like, you're priming it to be like, okay, let's start moving again. The body's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then it's like, okay, well, yeah, it's okay. You know what I mean? So it's like my range of motion on my leg came back super fast just because I kept moving it, and I kept active and icing like crazy, right? So just dedicating your time to that recovery and icing and getting the swelling down, and also getting past the first point of the surgery, which is like, I think it's like the first week window there. I'm not sure the days where you're very conscious about getting infected. Like there's no other priority other than like make sure this fucking thing is not gonna get infected. So once you kind of clear that hurdle, I've been told it's basically you're off to the races, right? You get your staples out, your wounds closed, then start working on rehab, right? It's an easy progression, as long as you think in your mind that it is. If I was walking around here all day like, oh, my hip it's fake, it doesn't work. It's like, no, it's fucking brand new, man. It's fucking ready to go. Way better than my other hip, the hip I had before it.